That was the hardest day of my life, hands down. I've always dreamed of visiting Iceland ever since I was a young girl. There's always something that drew me to that desolate landscape and isolation. Then after watching Water Mitty more recently and finding some cool routes around Iceland, I knew I must visit. So this June I made it a reality. I booked a flight to Reykjavik, plotted my route, broke down my bike and decided to cycle north to south, across the whole Icelandic interior. I knew this would be one hell of an adventure. The journey started in Reykjavik, Iceland's capital city. I unboxed my bike and prepared for the adventure that awaited me. The following day, I took a 6-hour bus drive north to where I'd be starting my trip, in the beautiful town of Akureyri, which is known for fertile growing land throughout history. I left Akureyri around 3 p.m. on this gorgeous day and began my journey. This was the last time I'd see civilization until I reached the finish at Vik, so I had all I needed for the next 12 days, including my camping kit and all my food I'd need. Good evening. It is night 1 and the wind has come in really strong actually, so I've just double checked all my pegs, made sure I'm all pegged down and batten down the hatches because it sounds like it's going to be a windy night. But anyway, today started in Akureyri. I got a 6-hour bus from Reykjavik and I've been spending the last 2 nights there just getting everything sorted, getting a gas bottle, putting my bike together, making sure that it was okay. I've never flown with a bike before, so it was very interesting, and I've been spending the last 2 nights there just getting everything sorted, getting a gas bottle, putting my bike together, making sure that it was okay. I've never flown with a bike before, so it was very interesting. And then obviously 6-hour coach journey today, so that really took it out of me. And then arrived in the beautiful town, city of Akureyri. I'm really awful with pronunciations. And put my hand in the water, in the seawater, because when I finish this route, I really wanted to do the same when I get to Vik and put my hand or take a swim. I just thought it would be something quite nice to do. I'm so nervous, really nervous, just because of the isolation, the river crossings, the weather that can hit Iceland can be really severe. Really excited for what this chapter is going to bring. It's going to be epic, and never visited Iceland before, never done something this big, so the confidence, and I'm going to be just so proud of myself if I can do this. It's just going to be a really cool trip. I'm going to learn a lot, going to grow a lot, and what a beautiful wild place to do a trip like this in. It's just hit me what I'm about to take on, and it feels so wild now. I'm getting quite emotional. It's just already, it's been just so overwhelmingly beautiful. Hello, hello! It's been a brilliant day, and I'm now in a mountain hut, which is absolutely gorgeous. dinner is served. Got spaghetti bolognese tonight. Oh, the heat off that feels amazing. I've just been looking at the route and deciding what to do, because tomorrow I'll get to a crossroads where I need to decide whether I'm doing a detour to this volcano. It's a really beautiful volcano, and there's like a lake at the bottom of it, and people swim in there because it's like a hot spring. I spent the rest of the evening reflecting on the day and contemplating the trip to come, and how lucky I felt to be here. I always feel so grateful to be a young woman being able to do these trips solo, but I also felt an immense amount of nerves knowing I was the only one to rely on if anything went wrong. Good morning. I am super tired this morning. Really tired. I didn't sleep the best, to be honest. It was so warm in here. I've got a -6 quilt, and yeah, I was just too hot because obviously you're in this lovely hut. Also the wind, I don't know if you can hear it, but it was bad. I think I was just wondering if this detour to this volcano is going to be worth it, because I might not be able to go up the volcano, it's just too windy. I had my sights set on this volcano for months, so knowing I wasn't able to do the detour was a little disappointing. I also worried about how harsh this wind was in this exposed landscape. There sure was no shelter out here to hide behind. I've just hit Botany Hut. We're in the lava fields now, so it just feels so wild and desolate. We reached the 4x4 track after 8k of just walking over a lava field. It feels amazing just to have this. I don't think you'll hear me, but we've reached the road! I'm just currently hiding behind a rock because the wind is so intense, it's so bad. So I'm just come behind this rock. I don't know if you can hear me, but it is just desolate. I've only done 18 miles and it's 4 o'clock. That's how slow going it's been. Yeah, it's been really slow going. It's just the wind. It's so intense. And I don't have signal to check how long this wind's going to stay around for. This is the most nervous I felt for a river crossing. And I think it's because it's fast flowing. I'm in the middle of bloody nowhere, and the wind. And I've just been recceing it to see some bits are really deep. It's just it's carrying the bike across. It's so heavy, and I'm not stable as it is. It's relentless. That was the hardest day of my life. Hands down. That was so difficult. And it just feels I just feel so grateful to be set up now. So grateful. As you can tell, Iceland chewed me up and spat me back out that day, leaving me humbled. The wind and the harsh landscape was just so unforgiving, and it left me feeling so isolated. I think the most frustrating part was I was giving it my all and just not getting anywhere. And the word I took from today was resilience. Silence. I did not think I'd hear that noise today. I'm currently washing my face, getting all the sand off. It's all stuck. It's in my eyes and in my ears. Words can't describe how today was. Started off with the lava fields. They were pretty gnarly, but I think the main drama was just the wind. I was doing 4 miles per hour today, and I've clocked in 28 miles. I set off at 10. And I've been going since, I think it was 9 when I started sitting up here. Good afternoon. Just crossing this sheet of ice. We've had so many of these during the trip, and I just couldn't film yesterday because it's been so windy. I think this is the least wind I've had in the past 2 days. I haven't seen anyone for about 30 hours. Not a soul, not any signs of life. I literally felt like I woke up in Mars this morning, and you're just riding through Mars. It's like another world, and it's so hard to comprehend. It is very, very rugged, and it is very, very hard, especially with the wind. But I'm gonna get there. Slow but surely, we're gonna get there. And it's just a bit of a worry knowing about the wind, whether you can pitch in this wind, if your food's gonna last, and also water. I'm down to about 1.5 litres, and I don't know when the next sort of drinking river is. So it's just things like that that sort of make this route hard. And obviously sand in your eyes and things like that. It's a savage old route, and it's really, really testing me. The wind and the sandstorms were crazy this day, so it felt so welcoming to arrive at Kustafell Hut, where I was greeted by 2 hikers who were staying there also. It felt amazing to be holding conversations again and sharing some wild stories from our time here. We spent the evening eating our freeze-dried meals, sharing stories, and huddling around a little burner for some warmth. How amazing it felt to be sheltered from the elements at night.
Sure. There's not like a wall of sand, like.
Good morning! It is day 4 or 5 on the Iceland Divide. I'm just trying to sort my hood and helmet out because I'm preparing for more sandstorms today. The wind is still here. It's been so bad. Yesterday was a joke, and yeah, it was absolutely carnage. I'm just leaving the hut and heading on today, but I'll catch up with you soon once the wind dies, hopefully, because it's meant to stay all day today and hopefully die sometime tomorrow, fingers crossed. But yeah, met some really great guys in the hut, Eddie and McKay, and it was so lovely to have some company, and it actually scared me when I first saw Eddie when I approached the hut. I wasn't expecting anyone. And then just seeing somebody after not seeing anyone for over 30 hours, I think it was just very strange, but very, very lovely to have a conversation.
Before meeting the two guys in the hut, one who was hiking east to west and the other north to south, I hadn't seen anyone or any human life in 3 days. It felt so strange holding a conversation again, but also so lovely, and you realise how much you take for granted. Just a simple conversation or a smile can go a long way. The wind battered me for another day, but I felt refreshed this time and recharged after sharing crazy stories with the other two hikers who'd also witnessed these mental sandstorms. I felt like I wasn't the only silly human being out here, and it confirmed that I was on planet Earth, not Mars after all.
I've reached the highest point on the trip and the views are insane, and these pieces of rock are amazing, all the different colours in them.
Once I got off the high point, I dropped down and finally witnessed colour again. How beautiful these lime pieces of moss looked. I also bumped into the hiker I met earlier that day at the hut as we were sharing similar routes. We decided to camp together in the only sheltered spot in this desolate landscape.
It feels so good to be in the tent. There is sand everywhere. That was a gnarly river crossing. It was up to nearly my waist. It was up to my freight bag on my top tube, and I thought I was going to go in. The current took my bike and started taking it downstream, and I was just pressing the brakes hoping it would do something, and then it started pulling me with it. But I just didn't want to lose my bike. I've got all my sleeping equipment and my camera equipment and everything to survive.
From then on, the rivers only got worse and the river crossings proved to be very dangerous. In hindsight, I should have made different decisions as what I did next.
Oh my God, I nearly fell in. I fell over and the current just took me. That's what I went in. I tried to cross and it just took me. I don't know how, but by some miracle I've managed to cross the river safely. It's taken me hours. I came all the way downstream and the river split into pieces and it's just been really, really difficult.
I was in so much shock after these river crossings, and I learnt my lesson that day. And I should have waited until the water levels dropped, but I feared that I'd run out of food. I eventually got picked up by search and rescue as they were called out for another incident with a motorcyclist who had fallen in previously.
Not the first one. Yeah. But how do you think in the custom when...
They told me the rivers were extremely in spate as it was only snowing 2 weeks previous to this, and all the glaciers were melting due to the hot sun. I was foolish to risk my life that day, and I sure learnt my lesson. They drove me 5 miles down the road to Neerdele, which is an outpost in the middle of nowhere. It has a campsite there also, so I gathered my thoughts, reflected on the day, made myself some food and dried out all my kit. Yet again it proved that you should never battle with Mother Nature.
Good morning. I am still at the campsite at Neerdele, and I'm thinking of potentially taking a rest day today just because yesterday really took it out of me physically and mentally. I'm just lucky that I'm still here and I'm safe and everything's okay. And obviously it could have been a lot worse, especially hearing about the motorcyclist who fell in and people had to help him get out, get his bike out, and search and rescue came and helped him. But yeah, I'm just really, really thankful that I'm okay and all my kit's here and I've got everything and I'm all good to go. I've got a very, very swollen and bruised knee today. I obviously smashed it on my bike when it took me with the current. I don't really want to relive that moment again of going into the water. The current took me and I was holding on to my bike because I didn't want to lose my bike and all my belongings, as that's all I have. And I was just putting my feet out, trying to find the floor again and just trying to kick to reach the bank. I'm going to lay out all my food, make sure I've got enough to stay an extra day here and for the rest of the journey. And then I've been looking at Komoot. I've been using Komoot to navigate, and it's been great. It's been telling me about the elevation, the weather when I do get signal, and how far I've got, the checkpoints, the different huts en route, the surfaces, so whether it's a gravel track, a road, or just dirt and sand. And I've really enjoyed using it, but I'm just having a look now to see how much more of the route's paved, and also whether I should do a detour, so just alternative options in case I run out of time, because there's plenty of other tracks like this that could help me with a bit of time, and also river crossings. You can see there's a few tomorrow. So what's really cool is this place is like a outpost in the middle of nowhere, and they stay here for months at a time, just wardening it for this campground. And they don't leave for 3 months, and also search and rescue come and they're posted here. I'm just hoping they turn the generator on. That's the only way that they can charge my stuff, is they run a massive generator for an hour or two a day, and I'm running really low for camera batteries and things, so fingers crossed. So I'm just unpacking some of my stuff and sorting out my bags here, and you can see this is full up with water. So I decided to take a zero that day just to rest and sort of prepare for the few days to come and the rest of the trip. I looked at Komoot for quite a long time just to figure out the river crossings to come, the terrain, any detours just in case I couldn't cross a river and things like that. My whole route is actually in the description, and that's via Komoot. I also calculated how much food I had left and if I had enough calories to last me each day. I broke down each daily requirement of food that I'd need,
Obviously it doesn't look like much, but it was enough to get by. Afterwards I had a well-needed shower. I washed all my clothes in this outdoor sink and then washed my bike as that was covered in sand and grit, so it felt good to clean the chain, clean the tyres, check for punctures and just get all sorted again. I was then ready to rumble and get back on the road, which I was actually really looking forward to after some well-needed rest. I'm doing my first river crossing since what happened, the bad accident I had, I guess you could call it. And that's just giving me so much confidence that today's going to be better.
There's so many bugs. I really don't want this trip to end. I've just been thinking now how amazing it's been, and we're over halfway, and I've never ever experienced this solitude before. This wild feeling. It's pure wilderness, and I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss not seeing people for days on end.
I think it's fair to say, after all that, Iceland eventually grew on me.
Tonight on the menu, we've got a vegan bolognese, which is really good. I'm so hungry, and it's been a long day. 45 miles, which I'm glad about. Got some good distance in, good riding, and it's 33 miles to a campsite tomorrow. They have hot springs, and it's a national park, and it's really beautiful. And I really want to go there, and it's a bit of a detour. So I'm going to try work it in somehow. Unfortunately, they didn't include it on this route here. But I'm not strict to the route. All I want to do is head north to south from Akureyri to Vik. I really wanted to go in a hot spring. That was the main aim for coming to Iceland. I haven't been able to do that yet. No pat down shots this morning, as these flies are so bad. They're just so annoying. They go in your mouth, your nose, your ears. Not good. Anyway, I've woken up and it's not raining and it's not windy, so that's a real bonus. I'm really happy with that. Let's get going. Let's go. Let's do this.
There is a life I lead in this city.
It is now raining.
I can take what I need to get.
I'm in a M&M stop, but I just wanted to show you my gloves. These have worked really well. They're just normal. How do you explain it? Just normal, like if you were working on a car or trying to protect your hand from grease. And they work really well. I'm really happy with them. Really good. I'm seeming to stay dry at this point, but we will see by the end of the day. No. First bit of rain. I am on a road! Oh my goodness, it's so smooth!
can't tell you how happy I am to arrive here.
Good evening. I am now at Rambler campsite. I've just been so tired and I've been in my tent just chilling out and also looking at tomorrow's route. I spoke to a guy who's done a lot of bikepacking around Iceland and he's done a section of the Iceland Divide, which is cool. And I was asking him about which route I should take from here. It definitely sounds like the remaining of the Iceland Divide, like a little section of it, isn't probably the best idea for now, just because it's prone to flooding apparently, and obviously it's rained all today and it's supposed to rain tomorrow. So yeah, I'm a little bit put off with that section, just because flooding, lots of sand, apparently it's an ash desert, and more lava fields, so yeah, that's not massively for me. I'm just very limited on time now because obviously the trails took me longer than I thought it would. I'm going to carry on looking at the route on Commute and plan the new route that I want to do, the new section.
I woke up in Maldonado that morning and oh my, it was so worth the detour. I was really humming and hawing whether I wanted to do the detour here, but it was really worth it when I saw these beautiful colours in the mountains and the hot spring, which I was so excited for. The main appeal to come to Iceland was to actually experiment a hot spring and just see how that happened, how this thermal water is created. So I had a beautiful swim. I think I was in there for about 2 hours, but it was lush, it was heaven, and it was good to soak the muscles. And if anyone watching hasn't experienced a hot spring before, you're really missing out. I didn't realise there's so many dotted around the world, so that's really, really cool that this sort of magic is coming from the ground. I spent a lot of that evening chatting to people who'd ridden the next section of the Iceland Divide and just figuring out what to do because of the harsh conditions that were coming in, the harsh weather that was about to hit us. So I decided to take an alternative route, and the next morning it started off to be absolutely beautiful. Look at the colours that I experienced that day. It's like something I've never experienced before.
I'm just leaving Maldonado and it is freezing. So cold. Yeah, I'm just gonna really try warm up now because there's some river crossings today and I really don't want to get cold having to put my feet and legs into the water. I just hope they're not too high. That's my main drama. It's obviously been raining constantly, so yeah, I can only hope.
Riding through Maldonado was truly magical. It felt like something out of a fairy tale. Round every corner you'd expect to see a giant or something alike, as it was giving off such a strange atmosphere. That's the first sign of Vic. Oh my goodness, I actually might make it.
this trip to end. I reckon this is my final full day. But you can just see the mountains and the volcano in the distance. And now it's cleared, I wish I was there. I feel like I've had my head down for a lot of days just trying to get through it. And now it's cleared, I can actually see, and it feels so good to be able to look around more instead of head down because of the sand in your eyes or the wind or the rain or looking at a river trying to cross it instead of actually being able to process where I am. As I start to finish this trip, I wish I could do it all again. Even though it's been the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, it's been so challenging. Not just the trail, but the weather that's been thrown at me, the sandstorms, the wind, not being able to ride my bike, the river crossings, losing my little toenail, not seeing anyone for 2.5 days. That sort of thing has been tough. So what I've learned from this landscape is how much I appreciate colour. How lucky we are to seeing colour. Just having black and white for days on end, you just miss something, just some sort of colour, some life. And I think what else I learned is when you see these beautiful pink flowers and they look more vibrant than ever because they're surrounded by sand and lava and rock, and even these lime bits of moss, you realise even in the darkest, most barren, most desolate, harshest places, beautiful things can grow. And I think you can sort of put that into your life and think, even in the hardest of times, even in the most challenging of times, you can always pull a positive. But yeah, even though this has been the most challenging, hardest thing I've ever done, I've taken such positive feedback from it and had the most beautiful, purest moments and memories from this trip. And you appreciate so much, and I feel like I've gained slightly different perspective when going back. And you realise how beautiful life is and how good it is to connect with people, but also the outdoors. Good morning. Just having a coffee and my breakfast. But yeah, final day. It's a very weird feeling. Very, very strange. I can't believe I've done it. Or nearly done it. I'm really, really going to miss this trip. I really don't want it to end. Usually on some trips, you're like, oh, I can't wait to get back and start this and do that and blah de blah. But for this, I'm just like, I really like this routine and I want to keep doing it. Just sleeping in my tent and waking up in Iceland and drinking the fresh Icelandic water, and just, it's so simple, and I really, really have been craving that for a while. Just not always feeling like you've got to do something and tick something off and be somewhere and should be doing this, should be doing that. It's just being here, and that's what we should all be doing. That's why I think a lot of us are stressed and not happy with our lives, because it's not the natural way we should be living.